If I had to ask you, what is the strongest muscle in your body, what would you say? Would you say it's your biceps? Would you say it's your quadriceps? Would you say it's your pectoralis major? No, the real strong muscle that we have is the one that's located between our head. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the Pure Motivation Podcast Show. My name is Coach Dimitri, and as always, we are covering the 5 M's to self-mastery. We're talking about mindset, we're talking about your mission, we're talking about muscle, macros, and your marriage. And today, we're gonna focus on something very important. We're talking about mindset. You see, your mind can shape your reality. Your mind can fuel your goals. It can transform your life. It can take you from average to elite. But it can also, if untrained, be your greatest obstacle. And I want to talk to you today about making sure that we can take the time to turn our mindset into an ultimate weapon that can not only help us today and for the future, but can also share wisdom to those around us, such as our family, our peers, and our kids. In today's podcast, I'm going to be covering mastering the ultimate muscle, the power of your mind. We're going to be talking about the hidden crisis that usually is happening when it comes to people not being able to achieve their goals or being stuck in a mindset battle. I'm going to talk about a 5 easy mindset framework that we're going to go through, which is going to be covering mastering your mindset as a framework, making sure that you understand awareness is the key to mastery. We want to shift from goal setting to standard setting. We want to talk about navigating your mind's landscape. Not a lot of people think about this. And then we want to talk about the mind to muscle connection. We want to talk about grit and physical strength. So let's talk about the hidden crisis. Now, we know that weak mindsets are holding you back from achieving the goals you want. And it gets harder and harder as you get older. And now there's a reason for this because unknowingly, we actually are sabotaging our true potential as we age. And there's many different reasons for this, okay? There's reasons of a weak and untrained mindset, poor self-talk, negative thinking, and victim mentality are holding people back. And how do I know this? Because for the past 30 years, I've been sitting in offices in different gyms around the city, and I've been meeting people in consultations and speaking with them. And no matter who I'm talking to, no matter what the goal is, no matter how small or how big it is, I usually find in our conversation somewhere in the line a mindset weakness. It's like looking at Legos, and you're looking at a few Legos to make a certain assembly, and there's certain pieces missing. And when certain pieces are missing, it doesn't matter if I'm giving you the best program, if I'm giving you the best meal plan, if I'm checking in with you every week, and I'm asking you how you're doing, and you're telling me you're stuck, and I'm giving you the marching orders to proceed forward and to actually fix that stance. If you have a weak mindset, or if you're holding on to previous trauma or previous issues, you'll never be able to break free. And to me, this is a very important matter because whenever I'm starting a new program with a new member, a new client, even my kids, you first want to tackle the mindset frame. Your muscles can grow when you put stimulus on them. Your body can suck fat for energy when you fuel it properly and you give it a balanced macronutrient mix with a caloric deficit, with protein, carbs, and fats. But if the mindset is weak, if the mindset is poisoned, if the mindset does not have the ability to proceed forward, you will always be stuck. One, let's talk about chronic stress, okay? If you're an adult, if you got kids, if you got a business, if you're in school, we all will deal with some kind of stress. But the challenge is when we're overwhelmed with the stress that we're dealing with, we're often stuck in survival mode versus thriving mode. And what I mean by that is when you don't know how to control your stress, you're often anxious. When you go to bed, you can't sleep because you're worrying about the next day. If you're trying to lose weight and putting too much pressure on yourself, you're often stuck in this mode of, it's not working. I want to try something different. And that's causing you to build up more stress and not actually get better at controlling your mindset. Comparison syndrome is another thing that gets involved with ruining our mindset. With social media today, with watching TV, with watching athletes, with watching other people on the side of your phone living that perfect lifestyle. Or whether it's seeing them constantly compare themselves to other people, this is damaging your self-worth. And if you're not going to stop and understand that there's specific things that are ruining or affecting your mindset, you're constantly going to be stuck in that survival mode. Another issue is lack of mental training. Although many of us know how to strengthen our bodies, improve our businesses, work on improving management programs in your work or your business, a lot of us never really learn how to strengthen their minds. A lot of us never really try to train and understand how the mindset works. And mental resilience is often neglected. Fear of failure is another big problem when it comes to mindset. You see, fear of failure puts you in past setbacks. And whatever past setbacks we have, whether it's judgment, of personal judgment, trauma, whether it's fear of taking action, those are all going to paralyze you. And it's going to keep you in a cycle of inaction. And the best example of this is when you meet someone and they're supposed to lose weight, they know they got to lose weight, they know they want to get healthier, they drive to the gym, they book the appointment, they go to the club, they meet the coach, they meet me on Zoom, doesn't matter where you are around the world. And then what ends up happening? You talk for 45 minutes, all the health markers are there, blood pressure, body fat, stress, overeating, binging. And then what do? When you ask them, so would you like to begin? They're paralyzed. They have to think about it. They need time to go back and process this. Well, anyone that's got a mindset that's organized, that's structured, and knows where they have faults at will say, I need help. This is what I need help with. I can't do this on my own. What's my process to begin? And I'm making a decision. You're either making a decision to move forward or to stay paralyzed. It's simple as that. And then lastly, when it comes to the crisis or the hidden crisis of why people have weak mindsets, we're talking about self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Okay? This is the invisible thermostat that people have on them. And where does this come from? Years of negative experiences. This can come from things in your childhood that didn't work really well. Okay? I grew up in a dysfunctional family. My father was never around. I could have taken that belief and I could have made it part of my story. And I just could have said that, I have excuses for why I can't accomplish things in life. There's an excuse why I can't grow my business. There's an excuse why I can't be a great dad. Maybe there's an excuse why I can't gain weight and get more muscular. But a lot of people will allow these previous and past mindset barriers block them from where they want to get to. And if you keep on holding on to the past and don't know how to move forward, you're constantly going to be stuck. So instead of using your mindset as a powerful tool to grow and to achieve and to move forward, you're actually allowing these untrained thoughts, keyword, untrained thoughts, to control yourself. And it doesn't got to be this way. Let's talk about mastering your mental framework. What do I mean by that? Well, we need to be in control. You need to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, today I'm going to be in control. You're going to master your inner dialogue. We all have inner dialogue. We all think of things internally. I don't care whether you're parked at a stop sign and you want to go forward and all of a sudden something comes in your head and it says, damn it, you never lost weight. You still got that 10-pound goal lost. And you know what? Today's going to be a horrible day. You got to be able to control your tower. Think of it like a tower in an airport where you're traffic control. Are you going to allow these thoughts to become negative and build up in your subconscious? Or you can actually take control and filter them out. Easy ways to work on building your mental framework is, I would say, start by writing them down. It's easy to say, I'm going to sit down and visualize myself in a more positive mindset. I'm going to pray to God or to whomever you believe in, or I'm going to sit down and try to meditate. Well, for the weak person that has no control over their inner dialogue, you're trying to just keep on staying in the same position and fix something that's in a tornado or a whirlwind in your mind. Start by taking a pen and paper and writing down what framework you enjoy. Write down what things you do not like that you keep saying to yourself. Write down what things you do enjoy saying to yourself, and then write down what you want to improve on. Number 2, we want to talk about awareness being the first step to self-mastery. Now, our unconscious mental patterns lead us to destructive habits, okay? Like stress, overeating, avoiding challenges. And why do I say that for? Because when we're aware of the problem, you can actually put a plan together to work on correcting it. When you're not aware, or when you keep on thinking that this is part of my life, this story that I keep playing over and over again, I was abused as a child. I was made fun of as a child. I was ridiculed as skinny mini growing up. There was pictures of skinny little pictures of little guys that people would draw, and friends of mine would put, well, they weren't friends of mine, but they would leave on my desk during recess, and I'd come back with all these pictures of these skinny stick figures. And I was a skinny kid growing up. I didn't have an understanding about body types and about training. But if I would have let those thoughts be the one that controls my outcome, I would have went through high school and would have went through all the best years of my life saying, I'm a skinny guy and I can't make a change for that. An easy thing to do is to embrace vulnerability, okay? Embrace it, even if it's hard. Acknowledging that your inner struggles are room for growth. Understanding and bringing awareness that self-sabotaging habits are there because your body and your mind wants you to face them. Your subconscious is throwing these little words at you constantly in the morning when you wake up, and you're in a good mood. You have breakfast, you go to work, and as you're driving, these thoughts keep crossing you. So it's like you trying to cross the road and you see a bus stop across the street. But in terms of you focusing on that bus stop, there's cars going by, there's buses going by, there's people walking by. You can't focus on the goal because of all these distractions you have in front of you. Instead of shaming yourself for the mistakes, instead of saying, I failed so many times, instead of saying that you have tried and you've not succeeded, and then maybe I'm a loser at losing weight. Maybe I'm not a good manager. Maybe I'm a poor father because I've been trying to work with my teenager on fixing this bad habit and it just keeps getting worse. What you want to focus on is turning it into a positive. Awareness allows you to create guardrails, and guardrails for your behavior, guardrails for the mindset you have. And having these guardrails are going to help you for your future thought process, the way you set yourself up in the future for healthier ways and healthier mindset. Number 3, we want to shift from goal setting to standard setting. I've been talking a lot about this over the last few months in all the posts that I'm making, in any podcasts I'm making, because goals are important. Don't get me wrong. It's very important to write down your goal. But standards define your daily actions. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, really, really great book, self-help book, talks about consistent high standards transform your habits to identity over time. And it's super important to understand that instead of setting goals that are occasional, set non-negotiable standards for your life, such as, I want to lose 20 pounds by New Year's. Well, that's the goal. The standard you can have is to say that I work out a minimum of 5 days a week. I don't care where the days are, but I'm going to work out 5 days a week. I don't eat food after 9 p.m. I make sure I hit 10,000 steps per day. I only eat out once per week. These are standards. I don't drink alcohol from Monday to Friday. Setting the standards are easier than saying, I want to cut down my drinking patterns. Clear concepts of identity-based habits means that you are going to embrace the person and the role model that you want to become. So instead of having a goal that you're trying to set for what you want to achieve, have a standard which will also help your mindset. Because if the standard is deep-rooted to your core identity and you say, I'm not that skinny person from the past. I'm not the person who fails. I'm not that person that was sexually, physically, verbally abused when I was a child. You need to separate that self to have a new beginning. If not, it's just going to hover over you like a black cloud. And then lastly, standards set consistency, even when motivation dips. Our company's called Pure Motivation Fitness. And as much as we want to motivate people when we meet them, and we want to give them the education, the inspiration to achieve the goal, guess what? 2 months is going to go by. That excitement of joining a gym, hiring an online coach, getting started on a meal plan isn't as exciting. Why? Because it's work. You actually got to do stuff. You got to cut out bad food that's not proper for you. You got to spend time making food. You got to go to the gym. You got to do the workout. You got to come home with this extra laundry and a bunch of set of clothes. So you want to make sure that when motivation drops, your standards will take care of your mindset. The 4th thing we're going to talk about today is navigating your mind's landscape. Okay. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about performing mental acrobatics. What does that mean? Well, your mind is constantly jumping from thought to thought. I know mine is. I can't keep a thought straight for 1 or 2 minutes. And I know that while I'm in thought and I'm trying to focus on just that one thought process, I constantly am bombarded with new thoughts. Some are exciting, some are thoughts of fear, anxiousness, some are thoughts of reminders. So we want to make sure that we can learn to control the chaos on a daily basis. Because if we can control the chaos, we can control and create clarity. Tony Robbins, one of my favorite mentors and motivators, talks about priming. And if you're trying to understand your mind's landscape, you want to prime your body every morning to do something to either keep you grounded, to remind yourself of gratitude, to remind yourself of either the goal or the standards you have. So for him, it's jumping in a cold plunge every morning to freeze his body, shock his body, and remind him that he's actually got to jump in this cold plunge, which is not comfortable. I've tried with cold showers, and to be really honest, I hate it. Like, I'll turn the shower on. I had my son try these as well. And although it's a priming technique to get your body to break through from the morning kind of slow waking up, you want to get your endorphins ready. You want to get your body central nervous system shocked. You want to sting your body with cold water. You want to sit there under that shower head and you want to take that cold sting. And what happens after a few minutes? The sting goes away. You get used to it. And you literally can sit in a cold shower. And after 2 or 3 minutes, once you've gotten that mindset probed and primed, you actually feel okay. And I'll have to actually go from the cold to the hot because it doesn't really feel like a difference. If you're trying to navigate your mind's landscape, another thing you want to make sure you're doing is identifying your mental strengths and weaknesses. Okay? If you're disciplined in one area, but you're of one area of work or life and you're not disciplined in the other, try to focus on why. So I find it very strange where some people, for example, car buffs. I meet many men and they'll tell me they want to lose weight, they want to change their lifestyle, they've got liver issues, fatty liver, they've got, they're overweight, they got blood pressure. They know all these things that they have in their lifestyle that are bad. Yet in another area of the lifestyle, if they have an old Corvette, Porsche, whatever car it is, and they've souped it up, they've done work to it, they're so successful in that area. Why? There's a reason why. Because there's a want and a need, and there's a core identity, a drive. Something is driving that guy or girl to put time, energy, resources, finances, spend money in restoring an old car, painting it, taking parts to one guy to fix and then put back in. That's a lot of time and stress. For me looking at that, it's so much easier to go do deadlifts, bench press, and pull-ups and do food prep than it is to touch a car. But it's because we've conditioned ourselves to have certain strength over mindset, thoughts and patterns, and certain weaknesses. So facing your fears head on, facing the areas of resilience that you have for the areas of negative in your mind are very important. You have to be very aware when you get a negative thought. You have to be aware to shut it off right away. So for example, if you have a mindset struggle with starting a fitness program, I meet so many people that, like I said, they have all the needs and the wants, but they just can't commit. They'll say to me, well, can I have time to think about it? I don't want to be rude to them and say, well, you woke up and you sent me a questionnaire with all the reasons why you want to lose weight, and now you still want to think about it. It's because they haven't solidified that core identity. The fear that's coming in, which is joining a gym, the time, the commitment, they're not facing that fear head on. So when you can face the fear head on with empowering language, you tell yourself, as soon as you hear that thought coming in your mind, saying, you know what, wait till January? No, I'm not going to wait till January. Start talking out loud. I don't need to wait till January. Go to in front of a mirror and start talking to yourself and say, you know what, you've procrastinated. You've been eating like shit. You can't do 5 push-ups. You really want to do this. Why are you not doing it? And literally this little role play technique that you'll do for yourself in front of a mirror will make magic to you, because you're looking at yourself, you're talking to yourself, and your brain is going to have to start acknowledging in the subconscious mind that these thoughts that you have and these wants that you have that are true to you and that are part of your identity are being buffered by this negativity. So the more you face your fears head on, the more the body can understand that we need to shift. We need to change the mindset. And we need to stop telling this person that they can't do something or they're afraid to do so. And lastly, if we're looking at, mastering the ultimate muscle and the power of your mind. I saved the best for last, and this is the mind-body connection, okay? Mind to muscle connection, the grit of physical strength. I will always, always, always start with this first, because if you're trying to improve mental strength, you got to remember that it's directly impacted by your physical performance. Whenever I hear people saying they want to improve things in their life, they want to improve their business, their marriage, their finances, their relationship with their kids, even if it's improving a certain, aspect of their personality. Start by improving your body. Start by improving yourself in the way you look. Why? Because to achieve a certain mindset, you have to have the mental capacity to focus and transform the thoughts you have. Well, if you're not doing nothing physically challenging, and you're not lifting a heavy weight, pushing a heavy weight, pulling a heavy weight, running a distance, waking up early, holding a plank, doing physical challenging things that are hard and then completing them, you're not going to have the ability to believe that what you want is possible. And it's super simple. If you tell yourself you really want to improve your business and you say, I'm going to wake up every morning and I'm going to go for a walk at 6:30 in the morning, and you wake up and do that walk every day at 6:30, not only are you getting the benefits from the physical side, the endorphins, you're burning calories, your metabolism is increased in the morning, but you're also building that mindset habit of, I said I'm going to do something and I did it. So if you feel positive from that, how can you not go to your business now and take that mindset and make it matter there? So many people, if you pay attention to society, they want to improve the mindset muscle, right? But they're not improving everything below that. They're not putting themselves into physical training, which builds mental toughness, okay? The discipline developed in the gym or in your home gym or on the track field will always make it easier to handle life stresses and situations. For example, someone loses an employee at work. Someone just got bad news from one of the family members. If you're never used to challenging yourself, placing yourself in competition, putting yourself in scenarios that are very difficult to deal with, that require not only mindset strength, but literally physical strength to lift, push, or pull something, you will always doubt yourself. And you will always tell yourself, I don't know if I can do this. But if you're consecutively and consistently building your body, getting stronger, improving every month, I'm getting 2 more push-ups each month. I'm running for 10 more minutes on the treadmill. My percentage of body fat's dropped 6%. You're not going to have that resilience, that relentlessness, and the ability to know that the foundation of empowering yourself is always going to start from facing situations which require struggle and growth. Okay? And I always tell people, if you want to fix your mind, fix your body. Because the body is the vessel that we move around. So how can the control unit be improved? How can the CPU of your body be improved when you're not fixing the actual mechanism? You're not improving it. They're connected, whether you like them or not. And most often, I'm not going to say this always, but most often, people that you see that are not healthy, that are miserable, that are depressed, that have anxiety, that have a lot of bad things going on in their lifestyle, also will probably have some form of negative, relationship when it comes to fitness, cardiovascular, nutrition, the foods they eat. It's always self-connected. So we want to make sure that to fix the muscle between your ears, you want to start fixing the muscle that connects the head to the body. The key takeaways I'm going to read for you here. Your mind is the most powerful muscle you have, okay? Treat it like one. Treat your mind like a muscle. Train it, strengthen it, and use it to your advantage. Master your inner dialogue. You need to make sure that, like many people say, even like David Goggins, one of my favorite, motivators, talks to you about your thoughts can either push you forward or they can hold you back. Choose wisely. Okay? We want to set higher standards, not just goals for ourselves. We want to set daily standards that we can live by, that are consistent actions, that are elevated standards of life. Because the more you even try to have an elevated standard of life, the more you feel deep down inside you that, hey, I'm worth more. I don't need that person to make fun of me every day when I go to work. I don't need to look at gyms as a negative place to go to because I'm overweight by 50 pounds. I'm going to look at a gym as a positive place because that's where people go when they need help with their physical fitness. And then lastly, you want to build mental and physical resilience. They are combined. Strong mental habits support your physical strength. And together, they make you unstoppable. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope the topics, the tips, the mindset, actionable takeaways that I've given you are going to help you break free from a negative mindset. I know there's thousands of people out there giving you information on to motivate yourself every day. And there's thousands of reasons why to listen to them and maybe a few thousand not to. But remember, it all starts from you and the dialogue you have. So although society will place a lot of stresses on us, and although our past life, which is very important, not to cancel it out, but to pay attention to your past life, you need to acknowledge that if you're constantly living by thinking of the past, you're robbing yourself of the future, okay? If you're constantly living thinking about the future and what's going to happen to you and being anxious and being afraid, then you're robbing yourself of the present. So what you want to do is live in the present. You want to tell yourself, if I'm not happy about something, write down what am I not happy about. Write down what am I afraid of. You're going to start noticing that things from your past may still be trickling along and attached to your ankle. Snip it off. How do you snip it off? By building better consistent habits, by exercising, by being aware, by thinking of your inner dialogue, and making sure that you take action to move forward. My name is Coach D. I'm here to help you with any questions you got. And if you have any friends and family that you feel this can help, I strongly urge you, send them this podcast so they can watch it, they can listen to it, and they can improve their mindset as well. When it comes to health and fitness, remember, your attitude is everything. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.